Welcome to AI 10X, a series brought to you by 10 Leaves. Today we're diving into the world of global AI hubs and Dubai's ambition to become a major player.
Ambitious is right.
We'll explore what makes a successful hub and where Dubai fits in this competitive landscape. Get this, they're offering 10-year visas to AI experts
10-year.
and using AI to manage their energy grids, even cutting consumption by 20%.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating story. Let's unpack this with our expert.
Well, thanks for having me. It is fascinating to see how rapidly the global AI landscape is evolving. Dubai's emergence as a potential hub really highlights that shift.
Right, it's not just the usual suspects anymore. But let's start with those heavy hitters. What sets the US and China apart in the AI race?
Well, the U.S. is all about massive investment, pouring in a staggering $47 billion annually. Giants like Google and OpenAI are driving this research-focused ecosystem.
47 billion with a B.
That's right. China, on the other hand, is laser-focused on practical applications, like Alibaba's City BrainThink optimizing traffic flow in 23 cities and slashing commute times by 15%.
Wow, talk about a real-world impact.
Whoa.
But what about Europe? They seem to be taking a different approach.
Absolutely. They're not matching the U.S. or China on spending, but they're carving out a unique niche by prioritizing ethics with the EU's AI Act. It raises an interesting question. Can ethical considerations actually become a competitive edge?
I guess we'll see. But then you have these up-and-coming hubs, each playing their cards differently. Singapore, for example, is going all in on attracting talent with 50% grants for AI projects and fast-track visas.
It's a smart strategy. They recognize that talent is the lifeblood of the AI industry. And then there's Toronto, home to the renowned Vector Institute, churning out 1,000 AI specialists every year.
That's a lot of specialists.
It is. They've got some serious partnerships, too, with companies like Uber and NVIDIA.
So they're really building a powerhouse of AI expertise. And let's not forget Bengaluru, India's Silicon Valley, where startups like Sigtuple are using AI to make medical diagnostics more affordable. That's
Yeah.
AI with a real social impact.
Exactly. Successful AI hubs aren't just about technological advancement. They're about using AI to address real-world problems and improve lives.
Okay, so we've seen some different flavors of AI hubs. But if we're talking about the recipe for success, what are the essential ingredients?
You need a potent mix of talent, funding, and supportive policies. It's like baking a cake, leave out one ingredient, and the whole thing falls flat.
Makes sense. What are some real-world examples of how these ingredients are playing out?
Well, look at Israel. They're attracting top AI talent with enticing R&D tax breaks and leveraging their expertise in military technology. Companies like AI 21 Labs are a great example.
From defense to AI, that's an interesting transition.
It is. Canada's global skills strategy is another good one. They've streamlined the visa process for AI experts, recognizing that speed and efficiency are key.
So it's about making it easy for the best and brightest to come and work there. What other strategies are we seeing?
Singapore's Model AI governance framework is a fascinating case. It's made them a trusted testing ground for global giants like Meta, showing how a strong focus on ethics can attract investment and innovation.
Speaking of attracting investment, let's talk about Dubai. They've set a bold goal to become a top 10 global AI hub by 2031. How are they planning to pull that off?
They're not just setting lofty goals, they're backing them up with a very deliberate three-pronged strategy.
Let's break that down. First up, we've got these regulatory sandboxes. What are they all about?
Think of them as safe spaces where startups can test their AI solutions under the watchful eye of regulators. The Dubai International Financial Center, DIFC, has a great example. Startups can experiment without fear of major penalties, and regulators get to observe how these technologies work in a controlled environment.
It's a win-win. Are there any success stories coming out of these sandboxes?
Absolutely. SARP, a Dubai-based startup, used the DIFC's FinTech Sandbox to launch AI-driven investment portfolios tailored for Middle Eastern markets. It's proof that these sandboxes can foster real innovation.
Okay, so that's one prong of their strategy. What about attracting talent? They've got a pretty tempting offer on the table.
They certainly do. Those 10-year golden visas are a major draw. They attracted 1,000 AI specialists last year alone. And it's not just about visas. The DIFC is partnering with universities like NYU Abu Dhabi to offer AI scholarships and build a strong talent pipeline.
So they're thinking long-term, which is smart. But all this brain power needs the right environment to thrive, right? That brings us to their third strategy, infrastructure.
And this is where Dubai's Smart City initiative really shines. They're using AI to manage energy grids and have already achieved a remarkable 20% reduction in energy consumption. They've also created the Dubai AI Campus, providing startups with valuable resources like cloud credits and high-speed computing power.
It sounds like they're really laying the groundwork for a thriving AI ecosystem. But Dubai's not just trying to be a general AI hub. They have specific industries in their sights.
That's right. Healthcare and logistics are their big bets, and they're already making waves in both sectors.
I'm all ears. What are some specific examples of how AI is being used in these industries in Dubai?
In healthcare, the Dubai Health Authority is using AI for early disease detection, cutting diagnosis times by an incredible 40%. And in logistics, DP World's AI-powered ports are streamlining cargo handling, leading to a 25% reduction in ship turnaround time.
Those are impressive numbers. It seems like Dubai is leveraging its strategic location and its focus on trade to become a global logistics powerhouse. But let's be realistic. Every ambitious endeavor comes with challenges, right?
Of course. One of the biggest challenges Dubai faces is talent retention. Despite the attractive incentives, about 30% of AI specialists leave within 2 years due to fierce global competition.
So it's a bit of a tug of war for talent. How is Dubai trying to combat that?
They're fighting back with those tax-free salaries we talked about and programs like the Dubai Future Accelerators, which connect startups with government entities and potential investors.
So it's a constant battle to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And speaking of staying ahead, what advice would you give to startups and policymakers looking to get in on the AI action?
For startups, eyeing Dubai partnerships are key. This city is all about collaboration, and there are great initiatives to tap into. The AI Startup Challenge is a prime example. It offers $100,000 in funding to ventures tackling urban problems.
I remember reading about Eagle Eye, the startup that won with their AI-powered waste sorting robots. They're now operating in 50 neighborhoods across Dubai.
Exactly. Dubai is supporting startups that develop solutions for a more sustainable and efficient city. Beyond local partnerships, startups should also connect with investors and mentors in other AI hubs like Riyadh and Singapore. The DIFC is doing a great job facilitating these cross-border connections.
So partnerships are crucial for startups. What about policymakers? What should they prioritize to foster a thriving AI ecosystem?
In my view, there are three key areas: education infrastructure and global collaboration.
Let's start with education. What needs to happen there?
Well, we need to train the next generation of AI specialists. South Korea is a great example. They're training 10,000 AI specialists yearly through public-private academies.
I see Dubai's on the right track with its AI summer camp, teaching coding to 5,000 teenagers annually. It's a great way to spark interest and build a foundation for future AI careers.
Absolutely. But it's not just about specialized programs. We need to integrate AI concepts into the broader curriculum from primary school to university. The goal is to equip everyone with the basic AI literacy needed to thrive in an increasingly AI-driven world.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, what about infrastructure? What kind of investments are needed to support a thriving AI ecosystem?
High-speed computing is essential. Look at the EU's Euro HPC program. They're investing heavily in supercomputers to support AI research. AI requires massive computational power, and access to state-of-the-art infrastructure is crucial.
So it's not just about brilliant minds, it's about giving them the tools they need to excel. And finally, why is global collaboration so important in the AI landscape?
Well, AI is a global phenomenon, and no single country or hub can go it alone. Sharing knowledge, best practices, and ethical frameworks is crucial. Dubai's partnerships with the OECD and MIT are great examples of this collaborative spirit. They're working together to develop guidelines for responsible AI development and deployment, ensuring these technologies benefit humanity as a whole.
It's like that old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Exactly. The challenges and opportunities presented by AI are too great for any one nation to tackle in isolation.
Well said. Now, looking at the bigger picture, where do you see all of this heading? What's the future of AI hubs?
I think we're moving toward a more decentralized future. Remote work is a game changer, and open source AI is democratizing access to powerful tools.
So does this mean the end of AI hubs as we know them?
Not at all. Hubs will still thrive, but they'll need to specialize. We might see Boston focusing on biotech, AI, Dubai leading in smart cities, and Singapore dominating fintech. This specialization will actually foster collaboration as hubs work together to solve complex challenges that require expertise from multiple domains.
So it's like a global network of interconnected AI ecosystems, each contributing its unique strengths. That's a pretty exciting vision. But what about Dubai specifically? Do you think they'll achieve their goal of becoming a top 10 AI hub by 2031?
They certainly have the resources, the vision, and the drive, but the global AI landscape is constantly evolving, so it's hard to predict with certainty.
It's like a high-stakes race with new players emerging all the time. Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of global AI hubs and Dubai's ambition. But before we wrap up, I have one final thought-provoking question for you.
I'm all ears.
With all this talk of global competition, are we at risk of losing sight of the bigger picture? I mean, The potential for AI to solve some of humanity's most pressing problems?
That's a crucial point. While competition is inevitable, it shouldn't come at the expense of collaboration and a shared sense of purpose. The true potential of AI lies in its ability to address global challenges like climate change, poverty, and disease.
So how do we ensure that AI is used for good, that it benefits all of humanity, not just a select few?
It's a complex question, and there's no easy answer. It requires a multifaceted approach with governments, researchers, businesses, and civil society working together to develop ethical guidelines, promote transparency, and ensure equitable access to the benefits of AI. We need to move beyond narrow definitions of success and embrace a more holistic vision of AI that prioritizes human well-being and sustainability.
That's a powerful message.
Mm.
It's a reminder that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something we're all shaping collectively through the choices we make
Yeah,
today.
it really is. And this idea of AI for good, it needs to move beyond just a catchy phrase. It needs to be the guiding principle for how we develop and invest in AI.
I couldn't agree more. We've seen glimpses of its potential AI-powered tools for disaster relief, personalized education platforms, even algorithms that help farmers get the most out of their crops. But we need to scale these efforts and make sure they reach those who need them most.
Absolutely. It's about shifting our mindset. We need to stop looking at AI purely through an economic lens and start thinking about its social and humanitarian impact. How can AI create a more just and equitable world? That's the question we should be asking.
That's a powerful question. And it brings us back to Dubai. They've made some bold claims about their commitment to ethical AI.
Yeah.
But are they putting their money where their mouth is?
That's the question on everyone's mind, and rightfully so. It's one thing to make pronouncements and issue guidelines, but the real test is in the implementation.
So what are some concrete steps they're taking to ensure ethical AI development and deployment?
One example is their mandate for fairness audits for all public sector AI projects. Any algorithm used by a government agency needs to be checked for potential bias to ensure it doesn't discriminate against certain groups.
That's a significant step, showing they're taking the issue of bias seriously. But what about the private sector? Are they addressing these concerns as well?
That's where things get a little more complex. Dubai has issued ethical guidelines for businesses developing AI, but enforcement is still a work in progress. They're relying heavily on self-regulation and market forces to drive ethical behavior.
It's a bit of a wait-and-see approach.
You could say that they're betting that companies prioritizing ethics will be more successful in the long run. And there's some evidence to back that up. Consumers are becoming more aware of the potential downsides of AI, and they're demanding more transparency and accountability from the companies they support.
It's like the old saying, sunlight is the best disinfectant. The more open and transparent we are about AI, the less likely it is to be misused.
Exactly. Initiatives like the AI Ethics Guidelines Global Inventory are so important. It's a collaborative effort between the OECD and the UAE, creating a platform for sharing best practices and fostering a global dialogue on ethical AI development.
Speaking of global dialogue, one theme that's emerged from our deep dive is the idea that no single hub can dominate the AI landscape. It's giving a multipolar world with different hubs specializing in different areas. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's an inevitable and ultimately positive outcome. Diversity of thought and approach is essential for innovation. Imagine if the entire AI industry were concentrated in Silicon Valley, we'd likely end up with a very narrow view of what AI can be and how it should be used.
It'd be like having only one flavor of ice cream for the whole world. Some people might love it, but others would definitely be craving something different.
Exactly. That's why it's exciting to see hubs like Dubai emerging. They bring a fresh perspective, a different set of priorities, and a unique cultural lens to the AI table.
So it's less about competition and more about complementarity.
Precisely. Each
Yeah.
hub has its strengths, and by collaborating and sharing knowledge, we can unlock the full potential of AI for the benefit of everyone.
It's a beautiful vision. But let's be realistic. Collaboration doesn't always come naturally, especially in a competitive field like AI. Are there any mechanisms or initiatives in place to foster cross-border collaboration?
There are, and they're becoming increasingly important. Organizations like the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, GPAI, are bringing together governments, industry leaders, and researchers from around the world to address shared challenges and develop ethical guidelines for AI.
So it's not just about sharing research papers and attending conferences. It's about tackling real-world problems together.
Exactly. For example, GPAI is currently working on projects related to responsible AI in healthcare, using AI to fight climate change and developing inclusive AI systems that benefit everyone.
Those are some truly pressing issues, and it's encouraging to see this kind of global effort. But with all this talk of lofty goals and international collaboration, are we overlooking the needs of individual citizens? How can we ensure AI benefits everyone, not just those at the top?
That's a fundamental question we can't afford to ignore. It's easy to get caught up in the hype and the potential for AI to revolutionize industries, but we can't forget about the human element.
So how do we ensure that AI serves people, not the other way around?
It starts with education. We need to give people the skills and knowledge they need to navigate an AI-powered world. That includes not just technical skills like coding, but also critical thinking skills, ethical awareness, and the ability to discern fact from fiction in a world flooded with information.
It's about empowering people to be active participants in the AI revolution, not just passive consumers.
Exactly. It also requires governments to implement policies that protect citizens' rights and ensure equitable access to the benefits of AI. Things like data privacy regulations, anti-discrimination laws, and social safety nets for those whose jobs are impacted by automation.
It's about creating a future where AI uplifts everyone, not just a select few. But as you mentioned earlier, the AI landscape is constantly evolving. What are some emerging trends we should be paying attention to?
One significant trend is the rise of decentralized AI, also known as edge computing. This means AI processing is moving away from central data centers and closer to the devices we use every day: smartphones, cars, even household appliances.
So instead of relying on the cloud for everything, our devices will be able to do more AI processing on their own.
Exactly. This has several advantages. First, it reduces latency, meaning AI applications can respond more quickly. That's crucial for self-driving cars where split-second decisions are critical. Second, it enhances privacy. Sensitive data doesn't need to be sent to the cloud, reducing the risk of breaches.
And third, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities for areas with limited internet access. Imagine AI-powered medical diagnostic tools in remote villages or educational platforms that work offline.
Precisely, decentralized AI has the potential to democratize access to these technologies and benefit communities that have been traditionally underserved.
That's incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
But I imagine there are also challenges associated with decentralized AI.
Of course, one of the biggest is security. As we distribute AI processing power to millions of devices, we need to make sure those devices are secure and can't be hacked. Otherwise, we could see a wave of AI-powered cyber attacks, which would be devastating.
It's like opening up a million new entry points for malicious actors. That's a scary thought.
It is. So cybersecurity is paramount. We also need to develop new standards and protocols for decentralized AI to ensure that devices from different manufacturers can communicate with each other.
Otherwise, we could end up with a fragmented ecosystem where devices can't talk to each other, which would limit the potential of decentralized AI.
Exactly. So there's a lot of work to be done, but the potential benefits of decentralized AI are immense. It's definitely a trend worth watching closely.
Speaking of trends worth watching, another one that's been making headlines is the rise of synthetic data. Can you explain what that is and why it's so significant?
Sure, synthetic data is artificial data created to mimic real data, but without containing any personal information. It's like a digital twin of real data, but without the privacy concerns.
So why is this so important for AI development?
Well, AI algorithms are trained on massive data sets, but acquiring and labeling real data can be expensive, time-consuming, and raise privacy issues. Synthetic data offers a way around these challenges.
So it's like having an unlimited supply of training data without the ethical and logistical headaches.
Exactly. And this opens up new possibilities for AI research. For example, researchers are using synthetic data to train algorithms to detect rare diseases, predict natural disasters, and even create realistic simulations of human behavior.
Wow, that's incredible. But are there limitations to synthetic data? Can it truly replace real data in all situations?
That's a great question. Synthetic data has come a long way, but it's not a perfect solution. The quality of synthetic data depends heavily on the algorithms used to create it. If the algorithms are poorly designed, the synthetic data might not accurately reflect the complexities of real-world data.
So it's like having a map that's missing some crucial landmarks. It might give you a general sense of direction, but it won't get you to your destination with pinpoint accuracy.
Exactly. So while synthetic data is a powerful tool, it's important to use it carefully and be aware of its limitations.
Noted. And speaking of powerful tools, another trend generating a lot of buzz is quantum computing. Can you give us a quick primer on what it is and how it might impact the future of AI?
Of course, quantum computing is a fundamentally different type of computing that uses the principles of quantum mechanics to solve problems that are impossible for classical computers to handle.
Okay, that sounds complicated. Can you break it down for us non-physicists?
Essentially, quantum computers use quantum bits or qubits, which can exist in multiple states simultaneously, unlike classical bits, which can only be either a 0 or a 1. This lets quantum computers perform calculations exponentially faster than classical computers for certain types of problems.
So it's like having a computer that can explore multiple paths at the same time rather than just one at a time. That's mind-boggling.
It is, and this has huge implications for AI. For example, quantum computers could be used to train AI models much faster, leading to breakthroughs in drug discovery materials, science, and financial modeling.
That's incredible. So are quantum computers going to replace classical computers entirely?
Not necessarily. Quantum computers are still in their early stages, and they're best suited for specific types of problems. Classical computers will likely remain the workhorse for many everyday tasks.
So it's more like a partnership with quantum computers, boosting the capabilities of classical computers.
Precisely. We're likely to see a hybrid computing landscape where classical and quantum computers work together to solve complex problems.
That's a fascinating glimpse into the future. But let's bring it back to Dubai for a moment. Are they making any investments in quantum computing?
Yes, they are. Dubai has recognized the potential of quantum computing and has launched several initiatives to support its development. For example, they've partnered with leading quantum computing companies like IBM and Google to establish research centers and explore potential applications in areas like healthcare finance and logistics.
So they're not just focusing on what's happening now, they're looking ahead to the future of computing as well.
Exactly. They understand that to stay competitive in the global AI race, they need to be at the forefront of technological innovation. And quantum computing is undoubtedly one of the most transformative technologies out there.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into the world of AI, covering everything from global trends to Dubai's ambitions. But before we wrap up, I want to get your take on one final question.
Fire away.
With all this talk of technological advancements and economic opportunities, are we overlooking the potential risks of AI? Are there any ethical concerns we should be particularly mindful of?
That's a crucial question and one we need to be asking ourselves constantly. AI is a powerful tool, and like any powerful tool, it can be used for good or bad.
So what are some potential downsides of AI that we need to be vigilant about?
One of the biggest concerns is job displacement. As AI systems become more sophisticated, they're capable of automating tasks previously done by humans. This could lead to widespread job losses, particularly in sectors like manufacturing, transportation, and customer service.
That's a valid concern. And it's not just blue-collar jobs at risk. AI is starting to make its way into white-collar professions like law, medicine, and finance.
Exactly. We need to start thinking about how we prepare the workforce for the future of work in an AI-powered world. This will require investment in education and training programs to equip people with the skills they need to thrive in jobs that complement AI, not compete with it.
It's about embracing lifelong learning and adaptability as work continues to evolve.
Precisely. Another ethical concern is the potential for bias in AI systems. As we've discussed, AI algorithms are trained on data, and if that data is biased, the algorithms will be biased too.
We've seen examples of this already with facial recognition systems that are less accurate at identifying people of color and hiring algorithms that discriminate against women.
Exactly. So we need to be extremely careful about the data used to train AI systems, and we need to develop ways to detect and mitigate bias.
Otherwise, we risk perpetuating and even amplifying existing inequalities.
Precisely. Another concern is the potential misuse of AI for malicious purposes, such as creating deepfakes, spreading misinformation, or developing autonomous weapon systems.
It's a chilling thought that AI could be used to sow discord, manipulate public opinion, or even wage war.
It's certainly a possibility that we need to be aware of and actively work to prevent. This will require international cooperation and the development of ethical frameworks for AI development and deployment.
It's a reminder that AI isn't just a technological issue. It's this societal issue with profound ethical and political dimensions.
Absolutely.
Right.
We need a broad societal conversation about the role we want AI to play in our lives, and we need to establish clear guidelines and regulations to ensure that AI is used for good, not harm.
Well said. This has been an incredibly thought-provoking discussion. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
It's been my pleasure. It has been fascinating, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. The more we explore the world of AI, the more we realize how much there is to learn and to discover. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, we really have.
And that's what makes this topic so captivating. It's constantly evolving, pushing us to think in new ways and grapple with complex questions.
Absolutely. It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the human element, about how we shape and are shaped by, these advancements.
That brings me back to our focus on Dubai. They've set this ambitious goal of becoming a top 10 global AI hub. But as we've discussed, the AI landscape is incredibly competitive with established giants like the US and China and rising stars like Singapore and Toronto. What makes Dubai believe they can stand out in this crowded field?
It's a great question, and I think their strategic approach is key. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. They're
Yeah.
focusing on their strengths, leveraging their unique position as a bridge between East and West, and playing to their advantage in areas like logistics, healthcare, and smart cities.
So it's about finding their niche rather than trying to go head-to-head with the big players.
Precisely. They're doing this through a combination of targeted investments, supportive policies, and strategic partnerships.
And let's not forget their efforts to attract top AI talent with those enticing 10-year golden visas.
Absolutely. Talent is the lifeblood of any successful AI ecosystem, and Dubai is going all out to attract and retain the best minds in the field.
But as we discussed earlier, talent retention is a challenge they're still working to overcome.
It is, but they're making progress. They're offering competitive salaries, creating a vibrant and welcoming environment for expats, and investing in world-class infrastructure and amenities.
It's like they're building an AI oasis in the desert.
You could say that. They're striving to create an environment where AI innovators can thrive and their ideas can flourish.
So do you think they'll succeed? Will Dubai reach their ambitious goal of becoming a top 10 AI hub by 2031?
It's difficult to predict with certainty. The AI landscape is dynamic, and there are many factors at play. But I believe they have a real chance. They're making the right moves, attracting attention, and generating momentum.
It will be fascinating to see how their journey unfolds. Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of AI and Dubai's role in it. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today.
It's been my pleasure.
And to our listeners, we hope you've enjoyed this episode of AI 10X, a series brought to you by 10 Leaves. Be sure to check out our show notes for links to relevant articles and resources, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future deep dives into the world of AI. Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.